up everyone, welcome to step 3 of my pug tutorial, painting realistic fur. Today we're going to be focusing on the final detailed layer, on getting the fur looking nice and realistic so that you feel like you could actually stroke it and touch it. I focused on the forehead of the pug, this area, partly because I wanted to do a fur tutorial, but also because somebody I saw specifically asked about wrinkles on dogs' heads and how to make them look genuine. And I thought, well, since this pug that I'm doing next has got wrinkles, I thought I would, kill two birds with one stone and do that, fur tutorial plus wrinkle at the same time. So if you've not seen me step 1 and step 2 of this series on the blocking in layer and modelling layer, then I suggest you watch them first, and I'll put a link up here for step 1. I'll try anyway. And I'll have links in description for both of them videos, so you just go and have a look at them. If you've already seen them, then you'll be ready to start watching this video. So let's get cracking. Right, so the colours I'm using at minute for this, the area for these wrinkles that we're going to be working on is titanium white, yellow ochre, burnt umber and black. I'll probably have to add some blue tones and what have you a bit later, because there are a few bits where there's some hair that's reflecting some light from, the window light, probably because the window light tends to cause the blues, and then the ceiling light tends to cause the warmer reflections, like on top of ears. So I'll do that later. At first we'll concentrate on the fur, on the actual wrinkles. If you've not seen my earlier tutorials on how to get to this stage, then you're probably better off watching them first, because obviously, I'm already at this. I've already done the first couple of layers on this, well, probably about 3 layers, the blocking in layer and then a couple of sort of like modelling layers, to get to this stage. So if you want to see how I've gotten to that stage, then you probably need to go and have a look at the previous tutorials, and it shows you how I get to this stage to begin with. So let's get cracking on this. I'm going to start with like a mid-tone at first and start working towards doing the lighter hairs, but I'm going to start with like a mid-tone first. So I'm going to do some white, burnt umber, yellow ochre and a little bit of black mixed in there. And I'm going to be using number 1 rigger brush. Again, it's another Winsor & Newton Cotman. I do seem to have a lot of them. I've got some Winsor & Newton, it's Skepta Gold. It's not like that. The red ones, I do have a lot of these, and I do tend to like these brushes. First I'll just start doing strokes for the, probably going to add a bit more black to that, make it a bit darker. And I'll just start adding these, like I said in the previous tutorials, pay attention to direction of fur growth here, because the fur does grow down this way at bottom end of here, but then it sort of comes in here and then grows in opposite direction on the top half for this area, so you need to watch out for things like that. Right, so now you've added that, we're going to move up in tone a little bit and start gradually working towards these lighter hairs. So I'll add some white and a little bit of yellow ochre to just warm it up slightly. And then we'll we'll start working up in tone a little bit, because I pay particular attention to which direction these hairs are growing in. In this little area there's fewer light hairs, there's more darker hairs, but we're going to actually go back dark again in a minute, because the black hairs in this are actually mixed in. They're not just shadows like in between, they're like mixed in with the lighter hairs. So we're going to be adding some dark hairs, and then the light hairs on this end, down this end, are a lot more sparse, not as many of them. We will be going a bit lighter than this. These are not as light as what the lightest ones are going to be. We'll go as light as this for now, before adding black hairs. I think because of the way that they're mixed together, rather than, you know, the white hairs or the light coloured hairs just being on top, it is going to be a case of just moving forward, you know, between light and dark, rather than just going from dark to light, you know, for your last stages. And I'm fanning the bristles on the rigger brush so it's nice and flat, look, and then I can use either corner to do fine lines. So I'm putting it on its side and then using a corner to do the fine lines. Right, so we're going to go back dark again now. So I'll get some black, a little bit of burnt umber, and then I'm going to start putting in the black hairs that are mixed in with all the pale hairs, and also some of these little wrinkles need darkening up a little bit more, so needs to be a little bit finer. You'll get more black hairs and darkness, you know, near the edge of the fleshy area, that, you know, between wrinkles, and then obviously murrier, lighter hairs will be at middle. And then this will give it the impression that, you know, that it's actually bulging forward, give it like a 3D effect. Obviously all the layers that we've done previous to this stage is what will, you know, give it the depth. You know, if you don't build up them layers, you don't have the depth. sometimes when a hair goes on slightly too thick, I just use my nail. If you've not got nails you can't do that, but I always have a bit of nail and I just run it along it to just thin the stroke down a little bit if it goes on a little bit too thick. Now that one. I do have another rigger brush where I actually got rid of some bristles to make it even finer. I ought to find that one out now for these finer hairs. Yep, here we go. I got rid of some bristles on it, so there's fewer on it. And I save this one for like when I want really, really fine hairs. So you want to leave some dark spaces between these hairs so that you don't want to make them too dense. But as you come down here to the base it is darker, so don't put so many hairs in as what you've put up here on this lower area, because it is darker down here. Right, so we're working even lighter now, so the lighter you get the fewer hairs you want to put on. Otherwise you'll just lose the three-dimensional look, you know, with the shadows that, you know, they're showing through little darker areas between your hairs. So just go easy on these lightest hairs, you don't want to do too many of them. You can do a few more up here because it's lighter up here. Don't get rid of all your dark though, you've still got some black hairs mixed in even up here where it's lighter. A darker area like this keep them a lot less dense. Just the odd ones showing up in here. There's some places where I want to put some dark hairs again, like around here. not too close together. You don't want to cover all them lighter hairs up. And now to go to the absolute lightest. And again, be really sparing now. Don't want to be going over the top with this. Sometimes when I want to do my very lightest hairs, I add a little bit of flow improver to the paint. This means you can sort of make it flow a little bit better, but it doesn't make it transparent. It doesn't like reduce the pigment the way that just mixing it with water does, so it still comes up like a lot brighter, but it's easier to work with, you know, doing fine lines. It retains its pigment a lot better, so you can do fine lines which are really bright a lot better, and when they dry, they don't dry, you know, more transparent like it would if, you know, when you're using water. There might be better ones out there, but that's just one that I've used so far. It's not something I've been using all that long, so I'll probably experiment more with that further down the line. Try not to paint the hairs all pointing exactly the same direction. They might be going general same direction, but don't paint them all doing exactly the same direction, you know, to a T. You know, they are sort of a little bit, you know, ununiform. You'll get hairs crisscrossing over other hairs and things like that. That's what, you know, fur naturally does. Like I say, if you do go a little bit overboard when you're putting your light hairs on and you think, oh, I've put too many on and I've made it, you know, I've lost some of my depth because I've covered up too much at darks underneath, you can always just go back and add some more dark hairs in, and then go back to your lights again afterwards, and just, you know, don't. Acrylic's quite forgiving like that, because you can just keep layering it up, like, you know, and because it dries fast, you can just keep working. Sometimes if I want some hairs on and they're going a little bit too bright, I just dab them a little bit with my finger before it dries, and it just dulls it down that little bit. think I'll leave that section like that for now. You can keep working it as much as you want. I mean, I might work it a little bit more as I go on, but that's basically how you get the realistic fur and, you know, the wrinkle effect. In fact, just forgetting the little bit of blue, just reflect it in the middle, so I'll just do that bit. I'm using processed cyan again, a little bit ultramarine, some black to dull it down, don't want it to be too blue, and then some white to lighten it up some. And then this little area here has got some light reflecting on it, which looks blue. And there's some little areas right at the edge of here as well where it's doing the same. I don't want it too bright, but just put a few brighter hairs in. Get a bit more definition. And I think that bit of blue has just finished it off nice. Sometimes it's just these little subtle touches that make a massive difference. So it's observation skills are vital when you're doing this kind of work, especially. You've got to be noticing these tiny little differences in tones and details. I mean, it's like they say, you know, a lot of people look without seeing. They're not really seeing things. They're just looking at things. And it's not until you actually see that you can start learning how to make things look convincing in a painting. And that goes for whatever style you're painting. Even if, you know, you're painting a looser style, you've still got to see what's going off to make it look convincing, even in that looser style. So just work on your observation skills and learn to notice all these little tiny things, because these are the things that, you know, people who are not experienced in art, it's all these things that people miss. They just don't notice it. Like I say, it makes a difference between a painting looking really convincing and dynamic and a painting looking not very realistic and flat. So it's really important that you really get your observation skills down. Zoom right in if you have to. You know, if you're looking at it on a screen like screen, really sort of zoom in and have a really good look at what's going on. Anyway, I'll leave it there for now. I hope you've enjoyed watching along, and I hope that you get some out of it for next time you decide you want to have a bash at some realistic fur. So next I'll be working outwards towards your ears and sides of your face, your cheeks and all that, and then I'll do body last. But I'll be using the basically similar techniques to what I've just shown you on this area. I just thought I'd do a tutorial on this area because it's a little bit more interesting with your wrinkles and things like that, and you know, people do have difficulty getting things like that to look convincing, so I thought since this dog's got wrinkles I'd do a tutorial on the wrinkles. Anyway, we'll leave it at that for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.